Hi everyone, Spode here. We're just looking at VR Disc Golf today, a game that is exactly as it sounds. It's just like playing Crazy Golf, but instead of putting balls, you're throwing discs, or basically like frisbees, although we'll get more onto the action of those later. There's multiplayer here, either with friends or online. My experience is there's never anyone online to play with, but I have a couple of friends I play this with, and it can be a bit erratic getting the invitation stuff going, but once it does work. Annoyingly, there's no speech communication between it, so we tend to just call each other on Steam chat. Then we can keep playing. But this is a lot of fun though. Don't let that put you off. You've got two different different courses. They're both quite fun. You've got the party mode there as well if you've got friends over, but from what I remember, you have to do the whole course, then you swap it over, which kind of makes sense. You don't want to be taking the headset off too much. There's a music as well that I've got right down a minimum, but I do quite like it as background music. Kind of gets you going. The motion sickness side of things we'll get to in a moment, but let's just start by looking at the first hole here. So press play. Okay, so here I am in game. It's a kind of a retro-esque 8-bit kind of world, maybe a little bit Tron-y, I guess, but you know, it is what it is. It's a nice environment though. And down on my control panel, you can see here I've got the various different frisbee types that I can select. So the default is distance. Then on the left, you've got accuracy, and then putter and curve. Now my controllers are broken, unfortunately, so I can't get to all of these. But the distance obviously goes further. Accuracy, to be honest, I've never noticed a lot of difference with accuracy, but it doesn't go as far as distance. And then putter is quite useful because it obviously goes less of a distance. And curve is useless if you want to throw with curve. The only time it comes useful is in the strategy where once you actually throw the disc, you can change to any of these types and it will affect the way it's going. So once it starts flying, you could press curve and suddenly get a 90-degree curve on it. So it's quite an interesting way of playing. I'll have to try and do it, but for the moment I'm just going to grab distance. There we go. My controller barely registers. Pull of the trigger, got the disc in front of me. Now it looks like a frisbee, and you think it's going to throw like a frisbee, but really it kind of throws more like an aerobee. So there's less of the flick of the wrist in it, and you've got to be more straighter with it, to the extent of I kind of release in a completely straight pattern, or almost kind of just let go rather than a flick towards the end. But once you get the hang of it, you can get quite accurate with it. I haven't played in a few days, so let's see what happens here. I'm just going to try and get it fairly straight over towards that hole. Okay, so I kind of shot it wide and curved it. The nice thing is it's got this sports cam. It follows the frisbee round and it just feels amazing. You can start to feel a little bit sick, but at any moment you can just press the menu button and turn the sports camera off. Personally, I find what will make you sick is moving your head around a lot while it's happening. If you keep your head in a fixed position, like you're a static camera following it, it's much better. So I'm pretty close here, but a putters might just make it. Got to be careful of your surroundings in this one. It's very easy to just throw yourself into a wall. I'll just give that a little toss over the top there. If I can get a curve on it. No, I can't touch the curve on my touchpad, which is annoying. So I've gone way too far. So I'm going to try and just hit a column there. Oh, lovely shot, lovely shot. Not a good start. I have done both of these courses under par, but I haven't played in a while. The problem I find with putting is often it just goes really high. The angle's like 45 degrees, and it doesn't seem to matter where you release it. And it either seems to go too far or not far enough, but gentle push there. Not far enough, but that wasn't bad. So that's a pretty basic, boring hole there. So let's hope it's going to get a bit more interesting now. Okay, so this one here, I've got to drop it down to that hole. Might as well go accuracy, because I don't think that's enough distance required there. There we go, much nicer shot than before. And changed it to a putter midway there for no real reason. Just going to give this a gentle. Oh, damn it! That's going to be a pain. This is where I can take advantage of the room scale, though. I'll just tuck around the corner there. Pick that up again. There we go. To be honest, I very rarely change midway to curve, because the curve just seems to send you. You can't really. It's hard to tell which direction it's going to turn in. In my experience, it will tend to curve me away from where I want to go in the first place. but going from distance to putter can be really good for kind of landing it. So I'll go distance here, and then I'm going to change to putter there just to slow it down, and hopefully, no, I've gone too far. That should do that. Okay. Oh, see, shots like that, they get really irritating. It does feel like the putting could do with improvement. And then I'm in this impossible situation here. Ugh. Yeah, if I showed you myself playing at my best, it wouldn't really show you the irritation of the game at points while you're learning. But I haven't played it a bit. Okay, so these arrows here are going to affect the up and down of the frisbee, just like you would if you had hills in a traditional golf. So no, so it's jumping it down really quickly. So I'm going to take that. That was ridiculous. But at least you get a bit of a preview of the different courses. So this is going to be a tricky one. I can either go straight through the middle there, or I might just try and curve it round across the roof. So what I tend to do is just swing my arm like that, and then see if my chaperone turns up, and that way I know if I'm going to be close to hitting anything or not. So there we go, straight over the top. Hopefully that'll curve round down to putter. Just going to make sure I don't hit the lava. No, that's not a bad shot. Okay. Not quite enough. There we go, in 3 though. Yeah, so the graphics are pretty simplistic when you look around, but you know, it doesn't have to be amazing for a game like this. Anyone who's ever played Golf with Friends, the non-VR game, to me this is quite reminiscent of that, but obviously with frisbees. Oh. Not even close. So obviously one of the things to think about is the price. This is at $1.99, which is no, it's not. I can't remember now. I think it was about £6 or something. I think you get a fair amount of play out of it, and as I say with most of the games I'm looking at, is there aren't that many out there, so it's worth just supporting them if it's even mildly good, just to keep future development going. I might just make it. Yes, there we go. It would be nice to see some improvements on the multiplayer side of things and some more courses, because it will get boring in time. And what you've got to look at as well as the competition. Inside Rec Room, you've got a frisbee type game. Nowhere near as good as this. This is a much better. They actually, if you look on the discussions group for the game, the developer has sent a link to the document that the physics are based on, which is based on the real movements of a frisbee. So it does feel quite genuine. Then you've got other games like Robo Battle, I think it's called, where you're throwing frisbees at each other. Also doesn't feel very good. Altspace VR, they've got like a game where you kind of wind up a disc and send it, but none of them really come close to the feeling of this. It's definitely my favourite disc game so far, and I would say some areas of improvement are definitely in multiplayer. Like when playing with someone else, it'd be nice if I could follow the camera like this, but on their shots. Instead, it only happens on mine, and then I watch them from a distance as they from a distance as they take their shots. Well, it'd be nice to kind of take it in turns, and then we can watch each other's shots, and it would add that extra kind of element to it. So I'd like to see some improvement there. I'm not sure if we're going to see it, because I seem to remember when I last checked that the developer hasn't really updated much in a while. So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, check it out. Might be your sort of thing. It might not, but certainly I think it's polished enough that it's a worthwhile mention.